Good morning, everyone. Today we will start with the last topic of this section. Some examples of FIR filters. Today we'll be discussing about some of the examples of the FIR filters and their applications in biomedical signal processing. This topic will mainly be covered from the book Biomedical Signal Processing by Tompkins. Okay. Among the different filters, we have a set of filters which are regarded as the smoothing filters. Okay. Now, why these smoothing filters are needed? First one is for averaging. So, how does averaging helps? It helps us in reducing high frequency noises. Okay. Second, what it does is that it reduces quantization noises. Okay. Third, it reduces motion artifacts. And fourth, it helps in this smoothing. Smoothing of the data. Okay. So these are some of the applications of the smoothing filters. So um, these smoothing filters, they are also regarded as averaging filters. Okay. So when we talk about the first point, that smoothing filters, they help reduce these high frequency noises. That means it is a kind of low pass filter. Okay. All smoothing filters, they are a kind of low pass filter. Can anyone tell me why?
Because it is removing high frequency component.
Okay. How come it reduces the high frequency components? Any idea?
By attenuating them.
Uh-huh. By
Said
By
attenuating
using
it
them.
average.
Okay. Good. So you have said that by the attenuation of the high frequency components, it is able to remove the high frequency noise. It is correct in a sense, but if as we go into the examples and when we will see that the what you call the placement of the poles and the zeros, especially zeros in the FIR filters, we will find that the frequency response or the placement of the zeros are such that the filter behaves as a low pass filter. And from our analog class, what you call knowledge, we know that all low pass filters, they have a smoothing effect. Okay. So suppose you have an index n, and you have the time indices say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And suppose I calculate the number of the students who are entering my class. Say at the 0th instance, as soon as I enter, there are two students. After 1 minute, another I can see that another three students has joined. Then 5, 1, say again 3, 2. Okay. So in this fashion it goes. Okay. Now if you see at the time index 3, there was a sharp fall in the number of the students who have entered the class. Okay. So initially we were having 5 and then we have got to 1. Even if you see, if you look into the whole of the data, what we have 2 and 3 which are nearly equal, then suddenly it rises up to 5 and then suddenly it falls down to 1, and then we have 3 and 2 again which are near to the average position. Okay. Now in this area 3, 5, 1, 3, that means corresponding to the time indices 1, 2, 3 and 4, we are having some sudden changes. And when we are talking about high frequency noises, the high frequency components, in the high frequency component, there are sudden changes in the amplitude pattern. Okay. So from our previous knowledge, we can see in this signal we are having some variations. However, at certain point of times, there are some high frequency components. Okay. So we will see how the averager or the smoothing filters, they can help us in suppressing these high frequency components. Okay. The second point, it comes about the quantization noises. Okay. So what are quantization? We have already discussed. Suppose while you are sampling any signal, you are having some fixed levels. Okay. Now say for example, say the levels are 0, 1, 2. Now say for example, near the midpoint, say 0.5, which we cannot have in the digital signals. So say just below 0.5 says 0.49, we have to put the value as 0, whereas if it is 0.5, then we have to put the value as 1. So if you look over here, that even a smallest change of 0.01 volt, it has resulted in the drastic uh, change in the amplitude levels which can be acquired in the digital domain. So what are these? These are nothing but noises. These are unwanted noises which are being incorporated due to the quantization effect due to the rounding off effect. Okay. So in many cases, you will find that the averaging or the smoothing filters, they help in minimizing this quantization effects. Okay. Then comes the motion artifacts. What are motion artifacts? Anyone who can tell me? Motion artifacts.
Error picked up during reading data due to movements or something like that.
Your voice is not clear actually. During movement, what?
So suppose we are taking the ECG data recording, then human various parts from our various parts ECG electrodes are placed. So you suppose human is not stable and moving, then the error will come from the movements of our body.
Yeah. So it is correct.
So that is kind of
So
human activity.
so when we acquire any signal, we place a series of electrodes onto the human body, right? So say these are electrodes which are placed on the human body, and then we take the signal from here, and then we process and this thing. So, however, what happens? Our human body, it is constantly pumping blood, okay, and due to this pumping action, our body is constantly moving, okay. Further, apart from that, when you talk of a patient, he is a living being, okay. If he is having some itching somewhere, he will, his first reaction would be to scratch the area where he is having the itching. So during the acquisition of the biosignals, yeah. So during the acquisition of the biosignals, either due to the natural movement of the body, due to the uh, pumping action of the heart, or due to the movement of the patient himself, if the electrode, suppose this is the electrode and this is the human body. So if the interface between the electrode and the human body, it gets destabilized and it moves even for a momentarily, then what will happen? Suppose you are having a signal like this and suddenly you get some noise. So these are high frequency noises, okay. So these type of noises, it may occur from the uh, movement of the relative movement of the electrode against the human body where it has been originally placed. So this kind of noises, they are called motion artifact, okay. Then smoothing of the data, it is somewhat related with what we'll be discussing over here. So we will see how it can smoothen out the data. And yeah, another important point is, there is another point which is called power line interference. It can also help in reducing the power line interference signals. What is a power line interference? What do you mean by power line interference?
Sir, as these are electrical or electronic components, so they are connected with voltage source. So the interference due to the frequency of that source, like in India we have 50 hertz source, so that is power line interference.
Okay, good. So all the medical instruments which acquires the data, they are electronic equipments. Okay. Now they draw power from the mains. In India, as he told that we have 50 hertz electrical load which is being distributed to the households, and in Northern America it is 60 hertz power supply. Okay. So if proper care is not taken, then what happens is that these 50 hertz signal or the power line components, they will be included within the signals which are being acquired through the electronic equipment, and it would be overriding over the signal. So suppose this is the ECG signal. So this with the red mark you will be having something like this. So but that will be repetitive in nature. That will be having a if you what do you call, that will be uniform all throughout the what you call signal components. Okay, its amplitude would not vary. So whatever the variation you look, that would be due to the variation of the original signal. In other words, we can say that the signal, power line interference signal, it rides over the original signal. Okay, it rides over the original signal. Okay. So when you try to do the averaging, this power line interference can also be reduced due to the smoothing effect which are being exerted by the smoothing filters or the averaging filters, whatever you call it. Okay. Now let us take an example of an averaging filter. So we can say output Y. Okay. Or let's use a small y. So what will happen? Suppose I want a 3-point average here. Okay. So what I would take, 2 plus its previous instance is 0 plus its previous instance is 0 divided by 3, because it is a 3-point system. So 2 by 3, so it comes out to be 0.66, right? Next, when I will come, it will be 3 plus 2 plus 0 divided by 3, you get 5 by 3, 1.66, right? Next, when you come, you get, sorry, 5 plus 3 plus 2 divided by 3, 5 3 8 plus 2 10, 10 by 3 3.33. Next level when you come, it comes out to be 1 plus 5 plus 3 equals to 9 by 3 equals to 3. Then you have 3 plus 1 plus 5 by 3. So what you get? You get 4 plus 5 9 by 3 3, and lastly you get 2 plus 3 plus 1 6 by 3 equals to 2. Right? So we have got this thing. So this is what we do in moving averaging systems. Okay. Now basically what we have done over here, if you see, what I have done is that I have calculated yn using this formula x of n plus x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2. I have taken the present instance and the previous two instances to calculate the average over here. Now when I was telling you while discussing this first point that smoothing filters, they can reduce the high frequency noises. If you see, initially we were having at time instance 1 we were having 3 amplitude, previous to that we are having 2 amplitude. Now suddenly we had 5 and 1, and if you look in this area, the averaging filter, it was able to bring down this amplitude levels to the what you call near to the average of the rest of the data. Okay. So this is the power of the averaging filter. Now here I have discussed only a 3-point averager. You can go for 4-point moving averaging system, 5-point moving averaging system, 200-point moving averaging system. So it depends all upon your application, what type of application you want to do. Now you would say, sir, at n equals to 0 and n equals to 1, the amplitude has significantly reduced. Okay. You can correlate it with your example when you are giving exams. When you are starting your exam, at the initial stages, you are somewhat nervous, and due to that nervousness, you are not in your full flow. Okay, that means you need some time to get stabilized, right? The same thing happens over here also in any kind of filters. You need to give some time to the filters to get stabilized before it can exert its what you call activity or the effect for what you have designed the filters. So in this case, in the 0th and 1 at the 0th and 1 instance, we are seeing that our filter is getting stabilized at that time. Okay, and it is able to perform its what do you call, it is able to perform its activity in a proper manner only and only when it has come to the time index of 2. Then only, if you see, we are having all xn, x of n minus 1 and xn x of n minus 2 in proper sense, because previous to that we are dealing with some values which were not at all present in our system. So that's why it was not stable. The filter was not stable during the initial instances of the time. Okay. Now coming to this equation, if you look over here, we can write it down as Hz equals to 1 by 3, sorry, 1 plus Z inverse plus Z to the power minus 2. Okay. So this is the transfer function of our system of a 3-point moving averaging system. Okay. Now if you look over here, I have discussed the averager, 3-point moving averager. So this is the equation. Now we have seen how we have derived the equation, right? Now this is your YZ equation, transfer function, and then if you see, we have realized the filter in this fashion. Okay, so this is the realization of a 3-point averaging system, and it is a what kind of filter? We do not have any denominator terms. That means it is a FIR filter. Okay. Now coming to the next type of filter, Hanning filter. So the smoothing filters, it runs up to from averaging filter, Hanning filter, and least squares polynomial smoothing filter. Okay. Now the second filter is the Hanning filter, where yn is given by 1 by 4 x of n plus 2 of x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2. Now from here you find out yz, and then you can find out h of z. Now h of z, it is given by 1 by 4 1 plus 2 z inverse plus z to the power minus 2, and if you implement this filter or realize this filter, the filter will give you this option. Okay, and this is the signal flow graph or the realize filter. Okay, then from here, if we want to plot the pole zero plot, so we will find that there are two zeros at z equals to minus 1, and obviously there would be two poles at the origin because it is an FIR filter. So why you would get? You would get because for the calculation of the what do you call, for the calculation of the zeros, we have to multiply both the numerator and denominator with z square. So numerator we would get z square plus 2z plus 1 divided by z square. Okay, so when you equate this, the denominator to 0, you would get two poles at the origin, right? We have previously discussed about this. I hope everyone has understood what I am telling, right? Now, if I have to find out the magnitude response of this filter, it would be given by h of omega is equal to 1 by 4 1 plus 2 e to the power minus j omega. We have already discussed how we can find out the amplitude and the phase responses. So what you would get? You would be doing z equals to e to the power j omega. We will just put that thing, and we would get this kind of formula, and from here we would get h of omega is equal to 1 by 4 multiplied by 2 plus 2 cos omega e to the power minus j omega. Now, if you go for the modulus of this thing, you get 1 by 2 modulus of 1 plus cos omega. Okay, and phase of the system is minus of omega, right? Then comes the next type of filter, least squared polynomial smoothing filter. The equation what it is given over here, it is the simplistic form of the least square polynomial smoothing filter. So here, if you see, we have yn equals to 1 by 35 minus 3 of xn plus 12 of x of n minus 1 plus 17 of x of n minus 2 plus 12 of x of n minus 3 minus 3 of x of n minus 4. Okay. So if you find from here, you can find out the transfer function of the system, and then you can realize the system. Okay. Now, the least square polynomial smoothing filters, it can be of different lengths. Okay. So different orders. So it is L, it is given by L. So L can be 2, 3, 4 or 5. Now for 2, if you see, we are having minus 3, 12, 17. Then after this midpoint, the values gets repeated itself. Okay. So it is given by 1 by 35. That means there will be 2 repetitions. Okay. Then the next one is when L is equal to 3, it is 1 by 21, and it is given by minus 2, 3, 6, 7, and then this will be repeated 6, 3, minus 2. Okay. Then when L is equal to 4, you have 1 by 231, minus 21, 14, 39, 54, 59. Then it gets repeated 54, 39, 14, minus of 21. Okay. And similarly for L equals to 5 also, you get a similar sequence. Okay. So if I tell you to write a short note on least squares polynomial smoothing filter, then you have to initiate with this one, and then you have to discuss about the other types of filters also. Okay. However, if I say talk about the smoothing filters, then you have to talk about averager, Hanning filter, and least squares polynomial smoothing filter. Okay. So these are the 3 types of smoothing filters. Now next,
Sir,
yeah.
so here L is length of signal.
No, it is not length. It is basically we call the order of the filter. Not exactly also order, because it would be length minus this thing. It is just a parameter. You can say this is the parameter which is associated with the least square polynomial smoothing filters, where you can have. It is basically saying how many filter types it will be repeating in the after the midpoint. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So like see, if it is 2 minus 3, 12. Now after this midpoint, 2 digits are getting repeated. Then this when L is equal to 3, it is minus 2, 3, 6. 3 points are repeating itself after the midpoint. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So it is the number of points which would be getting repeated. Okay. Yep. So next thing, so we have a very important and interesting filter which is called notch filter. Okay. We have already discussed about the power line interference. We have discussed about power line interference, and we have seen that we may have either 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz of power line signal, depending upon in which region of the earth we reside. In India it is 50 Hertz, and in Northern America it is 60 Hertz, right? Now we know if there is any interference in the power line, what would happen? It would be present at a specific frequency, either 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz. Okay. So how we can remove this frequency component? If you look into the analog domain, you will be getting a frequency response something like this. That means at a particular frequency we will have to place a 0. So if it is 60 Hertz, we have to place a 0 at 60 Hertz. Okay. Now if you look over here, in this case, if you look into the equation, yn is equal to 1 by 3 xn plus x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus 2. Now you'd say, sir, you have made this thing, or we have discussed this filter as the 3-point averager filter. Then how come it has become the notch filter? So if you look over here, before writing this equation, I have given some other information. Okay. So when you place Fs, or when you have a system whose sampling frequency is given, so where in this case it is Fs equal to 180 samples per second, right? So when you have this, you have a 0 at 2 pi by 3. Okay, you have a 0 at 2 pi by 3. Are you getting my point? Now since you are having a 0 at 2 pi by 3, you will be in the frequency domain, you will be having a 0 at 2 pi by 3, which corresponds to the 60 Hertz, right? Have you got how we have got 2 pi by 3? If you look into this one, we are saying that here we are having 180 samples per second. So here on we will be having 90 samples per second. So you try to calculate, it comes out to be 2 pi by 3. So at 2 pi by 3, you will be having the 60 Hertz. Okay. So if you solve this equation, you get this value. Okay. Now, previously we have talked that low pass filter, they are the averager filter or the smoothing filter. Now what you can do is that if you play around with the sampling frequency, you can bring these zeros at z equals to -1. When it comes out to be at z equals to -1, then the whole system, it becomes a low pass filter. Okay, it becomes a low pass filter. It allows higher frequency components. However, at the highest frequency, it will stop the frequency component. So if you see, even if you realize a filter and if you do not properly select the sampling frequency, then what will happen? Your filter may behave in a altogether different manner than what for you have designed it. Am I clear? So the sampling frequency is an important criteria when you try to design a digital filter. Are you getting my point? Anyone who is having any doubt? No? ओके गुड. अच्छा, यहाँ पे एक लाइन का ई मिस हो गया है. लाइन का ई मिस हो गया, सो just write it down. Okay, so we can see over here that sampling frequency plays an important role while you are trying to design a filter. Now the derivatives, we have the derivative, this thing, 2-point difference system. This is the simplest form of derivative filter, and you have yn given by 1 by t xn minus of x of n minus 1, where t is equal to 1 by sampling frequency. Okay, and you can find out the transfer function. Then you can find out the signal flow graph. From here you can also find out the pole 0. Now if you see the derivatives, this thing, it is suppressing the low frequency component and it is allowing the high frequency component. So the derivatives are basically high pass filter. Okay, derivatives are high pass filter. So, and your averages, they are regarded as they are the low pass filters, and they also act as the integrators. Okay, so the best way to remember is that nowadays most of us know about HD, TV and all this thing. So if you remember HD, you can say high pass filter is a derivative filter. Okay. However, in this derivative filters, if you see, the high frequency components, they are amplified, they are not suppressed altogether. So in this case, what will happen in this basic 2-point difference filter, our high frequency noises, they are amplified. Okay. Then we have 3-point central difference filter, whose equation is given by this one and whose pole 0 plot is given by this formula. Here we have not put any poles because in FIR filter all the poles are at the origin. Okay. Now you can see over here, in this case it is also a derivative filter. However, as compared to the previous one, here we are having a 0 at minus of 1. So the problem over here, that the high frequency noises, they were getting amplified, that can be negated due to the presence of this 0 in the second type of the derivative filter, 3-point central difference filter. Now in this case, you will see that this filter, 3-point difference filter, it is acting as a band pass filter. Okay. Then coming to the next type of derivative filter, least squares polynomial derivative filter. Here you are having You see 2, 1, -1, -2. Okay, so these are there. Now if you look into the tap weights, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. If you see z to the power -2 component is not there, that means this is 0 multiplied by z to the power -2. Similarly, for uh, 3 tap weights, it is 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. So it is simpler to remember the derivative filters. One important thing, if you have to remember any type of derivative filters or the high pass filters, they will be having the components, say a series of say x1, x2, then you will be having some value at origin which is called as 0 middle value, then you will be having minus of x2, minus of x1. Okay, so this you have to remember. So otherwise, if you see, it is very pretty easy to remember, because when L is equal to 2, you start with 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. When L is equal to 3, you start with 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. And in this fashion you get. So this is the least square polynomial difference derivative approximation filter. And lastly, we have second derivative filter. What is the second derivative filter? It is given by 1 minus z2, okay, multiplied by 1 minus z2. When you just simplify it, you can have 1 minus 2 z to the power minus 2 plus z to the power minus 4. Okay, in this case you will be having two zeros at -1 and two zeros at +1. Okay, and the realization of the filter would be something like this. So this is directly from this simplified version. However, if I tell you to implement this filter or realize this filter by cascade method, I think every one of you should be able to do this. Okay, how to implement the filters in the by cascading method we have already discussed, right? So with this we complete the chapter on FIR filters. Do you have any question on this one? No one?
Sir, I have a question
Yeah,
on the previous window thing.
which one?
So when we were using those windows, no, different types of windows.
Ha.
So there was a question in test like, what are the functions of these windows, like different
Mm-hmm.
types of windows. So if
Mm-hmm.
you can explain what are the functions, like why do we use this type of window and why do we use the other type?
In PDF, what is the question number?
So question number 4.
To check the stability, causality, linearity, and time invariance. It is not the
No,
same.
no, sir. Next question. What are the different types of windowing function?
That
What
are used for
that?
designing a digital filter. Mentioning the windowing functions. So what are the different
So
window methods? We have already
yes, sir.
discussed.
Yes, yes. Sir, but like, why do we use this type of filter and the other type of filter? Is there any characteristics just except that the shape of window
Yeah,
functions?
definitely. So if you see what have been asked, what are the different types of windows and what are their equation? And as we said in our last class, there is a problem over here, misprinting. So just correct yourself. Yeah, so that was the thing. We wanted to see whether you are studying or not.
So I'll just skip that
Can
windowing
anyone tell
word there.
why we use the window functions? What is the importance of the window functions? Anyone? नो वन, किसी को नहीं पता? When you are calculating HN values, you are basically using, you are having an infinite number of values, even though you are getting 0 0 0s after some time, but it is an infinite sequence. Okay, so window functions are used to make the infinite sequence a finite sequence. Okay, secondly, apart from the rectangular window, the all other windows, they perform, or they have been used to have a specific effect on the frequency response of the filters. So what is that? Can anyone tell me? What is that? Say for example, I'm taking only the positive
Sir, hello.
positive half. हाँ बोलो.
Sir, actually, it is generally used for the modify impulse response in FIR filter for reduce the ripples in the passband or the stop band. Yes, sir, exactly.
What you said, to reduce passband
Reduce the
stop
ripples in the
band.
passband or the stop band.
Yeah, so reduce the ripples in the passband and stop band. Yeah, good. So suppose you are having this low pass filter. When you look into the frequency component of this one, I'm just considering the positive frequency, okay, for this example, but negative frequencies in the digital domain, negative frequencies are also present. But for the sake of simplicity, I am taking this thing. So what happens? You get a sinc function. You get this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is a sinc function. Okay, so if you see, there are ripples over here. Now when you apply these filters, all of these filters, they have their own characteristics, properties, which helps in reducing this rippling effect. Okay, this rippling effect, there are some effects we have already discussed about the FIR filters. This over here, we have already discussed that there are some ripples in the pass band and also in the stop band, right? Now when you are applying the windows, the window, they are allowing you to reduce this ripple effect. So this delta value, it has to be reduced, and the use of windows, they help us in reducing the delta values. Okay, so every window, they can they alter the delta value in a differential way. However, saying this, when we use the rectangular window, what it is doing, it is just allowing us to make the infinite HN series a finite series. It does not have any effect on the ripples. Why? When we were designing the filters without filters, what we were doing, we are just taking a specific number of samples and we were designing the filter. What the rectangular window it is doing, it is also doing the same thing. Okay, so it is suddenly stopping off the frequency or the not frequency component, it is suddenly stopping the or terminating the values. However, in these values, in these other filters, if you see, there is a gradual increase in the values and then there is a gradual decrease. However, and this is common in all the filters. However, the shape of this filter, they vary. Okay, but there is a gradual increase and then there is a gradual decrease. There is a gradual increase and then there is a gradual decrease. There is a gradual increase and then there is a gradual decrease. However, over here it remains constant and suddenly it stops. So the rectangular filter, the rectangular window, it only helps in reducing the number of the filter coefficients or making the HDN a finite series. However, all other filters, they have a significant role in reducing the ripples in the pass band and the stop band of the filters. Okay.
So, is there any reason why we use one type of filter and the other type of filter? Like, which one gives the most accurate result?
It depends on your application, what you want to design. At the start of the what you call course only, I have told you, signal processing is a subject where everything is subjective in nature. So what you want, as I also told you over here in today's class, if you see over here, this averager filter and the notch filter, both of their equations, they are same, but just by playing with some values, you can make the filters to behave in a differential way. So there is nothing which is called, which is a better one or which is a poorer one. It all depends on your need and how much complexity burden you would like to take. Like if you want to design a this filter using the Kaiser window, we have seen how difficult it is to design a filter using the Kaiser window, because calculation of the Kaiser parameters, it is quite difficult, right? However,
Yes, sir.
if you look into the other thing, they are pretty much simple. However, if you want to have something or this delta value, the ripple value, very minute or very whatever you like, depending upon your need, you can fine tune. Even though this Kaiser window is very tedious to work on, but it will allow you to fine tune your delta values, right? In the upper ones, you cannot play with this thing. Whatever equation you have, you have. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And it
So,
all,
will we get
yes.
sorry. So, will we get similar HN values if we use any type of window?
I didn't get it.
The final value. So, the final value which we get HDN, which is multiplication of H dash DN into windowing function. So, will we get similar
HDN, we
values?
don't get HDN, we just get H dash N equals to HDN multiplied by WN.
Yes, sir.
No, if it is
So,
what do you call, when you are trying to calculate this HDN from the integral, depending upon the limits, your the values will be different.